Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wednesday, August 6th. I'm in a hotel here in Bloomington, Minnesota. Going to spend my day with the Vikings today. Very excited about it. It's my final stop on the tour. I've seen 14 teams in 13 days. I'm ready for preseason games to begin. But before we do, and we talk about anything else today, we got to get to the news of yesterday of Keenan Allen returning to the Chargers. It's significant. I mean, I think they've been looking for a receiver. They drafted 2 receivers this year. We saw him in the Hall of Fame game. Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, Lambert Smith, out of Auburn. But, you could kind of tell here that the Chargers are loading up. They pick up Najee Harris. We'll see what the status of Najee is. They obviously spent, a high pick on a Marion Hampton, the running back. But now they bring back Keenan Allen after his 1 year in Chicago. It didn't go badly. It's just that, it was a disastrous situation in Chicago with the rookie quarterback and coaches getting fired and coordinators getting fired. It was just a bad year. But Keenan Allen can still play. He can still separate. He's a great router. I think this is good for Justin Herbert. They've got a great relationship. Ladd McConkey kind of took things over with his route running. And now you got 2 great routers that can really separate and win. And so I think this is whatever the contract is, I think $8-something million, whatever. You never really know about the contracts because of the incentives and some of the other things that are buried deep in these contracts that can be 50, 60, 70 pages deep. So anyways, Keenan Allen's back being a Bolt. I don't think he'll play this weekend or anything like that. They play, I believe, the New Orleans Saints this weekend. But regardless, I think that's a good deal for the Chargers. And then the other news yesterday, I don't know if, George Kittle said some things about it live on air, crashed an interview that was being done by the NFL Network, but smelling salts have now been outlawed. I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. I'm not here to, chirp with the NFL and the decisions they make. I use smelling salts when I played. I used them in the weight room. I probably always had 2 or 3 in the sock. Going out to a game, always did at least 1 on the sideline before I went on the field, whether it was to on kickoff return or to start on the offense, whatever it was over my 12-year career. I saw veterans do it. I did them. I see them in the weight room around this league. So I know guys are doing them before heavy lifting or trying to get maxes where you're just trying to get your focus. That's kind of what it does. I mean, you inhale these things. Obviously, smelling salts have a purpose. When people get knocked out, not just in football, or people, faint, get dizzy, you smell it, throw those smelling salt under the nose, and you know the reaction that's coming. I don't know. To me, it was just like, okay, it wasn't even what the ammonia and the smell of ammonia did. It was a wake up. It was like, okay, it's time to go to work. It's time to focus. Let's put all my energy here, get that little sniff, get that little ammonia going up. I haven't done any studies. I'm not a scientist. I don't think there's any deleterious effects. I just would pop one before I went on the field or before I did my max on the bench on, max bench day or squat. The caps were all over the training room or the weight room. I mean, like this, and boom, you go on the sideline of any NFL game. At the end of the game, they're littered. So I'm not quite sure what was behind it. I haven't read any information about it. I mean, I haven't played football since 1994, so we're talking about 30 years for me, and I don't feel any effects at all. And I used them game day. So anyways, but the NFL said, okay, no more. But you know what it does? Players will find something else. They're always going to find something else. Like whatever, George Kittle was talking about, so I know George used them, but, all kinds of players would admit to using it, not because they weren't outlawed and we didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Like I said, it was just like, all right, in this moment in time, I'm just going to get myself ultra focused, like Tom Brady would say. And I think Tom Brady did. Like, I'm going to get myself laser focused to start this game. Anyways, no more. We'll see what players are doing to replace ammonia caps. All right. Let's get to Lake Forest, Illinois, Hallis Hall. I spent the day there yesterday with Stacey Dales from the NFL Network. We had a great day, honestly. We saw a large majority of practice in between doing a bunch of television. We interviewed Caleb Williams. We interviewed Montez Sweat. I got to tell you, Ben Johnson was getting after it. Like I saw every period seemed like it was a lot. Now, they were in full pads. They scrimmaged the Dolphins on Friday, and they played the Dolphins on Sunday. So it was like game review, like situational football. I mean, they started after their individual drills. They started the practice with the live short yardage and goal line drill. It was impressive. The best throw I might have seen in all of training camps, and I've been to, like I said, I've been to 13 of them now. Well, 13 today in Minnesota. The best throw I've seen in all of training camp was Caleb Williams hitting Rome Odunze on 1st and 10 at the 40, and he threw a laser to Rome Odunze for a touchdown right at the pylon. Couldn't have thrown it any better. And there was good celebration that went on after that. But I talked to, I've known Montez Sweat since he came out of Mississippi State. He said this flat out has been his most difficult physical training camp he's ever been to. I just want people to know that Ben Johnson isn't coming here running some soft, offense. We're just going to get the offense. He's getting after it. He's getting after it. Now, the results, we'll find out. We'll see. But he wants to be a tougher team. He wants to be physically a tougher team. He wants to run the ball better at any point than they ran it before. It's going to be the foundation to what they do. And Caleb is excited about it. You can listen to all the reports. Caleb's had a bad day. He's up and down. You can say all that stuff. All I know, 3rd and 3, he hit Luther Burden on a crosser. Luther's still running with the ball. It couldn't have been thrown any better. And I'm not saying I'm out here every day. I'm out there one day. And then I talked to Caleb, and I've known Caleb since he came out of high school in Washington, D.C. And I don't know, he's always been a straight shooter with me. We follow each other on the internet and, various platforms, whatever. But I think a couple things. One, they brought in Case Keenum. Case Keenum's in his 14th year. That guy has been in different programs around the league. Denver, Houston. I mean, you go through the list of teams Case Keenum has been on. He's a veteran player that knows how to prepare, can win games for you. I think it was a great signing. Just a guy that, and Caleb talked about last year, he didn't have anybody he could lean on and really go to. And, so I think he's got a veteran guy that he can lean on. Not that he has to, but it's good to go into a quarterback room and you've got a lot of experience in that room. And they have that right now. So I think that helps them. But it was good to talk to him. He called a play. He called a play on air. Basically, here's the formation, here's the protection, here's the motions, and there's a shift in a motion on them or both on every single play. You got to know it all right? And then you got to know the tags. And, is it against what front is it against? There's just a lot of information. So, you come out of Oklahoma, you come out of USC, and Lincoln Riley's basically telling you what to do. I remember talking to Caleb last year at the Hall of Fame game, and he said one of the issues he was having last year is he had to call the run game at the line of scrimmage. And so, it could be a check with me, It could be a pass run option, all right? So you say, there's 7 in the box. Safeties are deep. It's 1st and 10. Let's go run. Now, which way are we running? We run to the right, we run to the left. So last year there was a little bit of a struggle in the run game. And I'm not speaking out of line here or out of turn, and I'm not here to implicate Caleb, but it was something he didn't have to do in college. And so it was something he was learning last year with the offense, Shane Waldron or Thomas Brown, whoever's calling plays. So Ben Johnson has thrown it all at him. Now he's got to digest it, not just for his own sake, but he's got to, Luther Burden's a rookie, Colston Loveland's a rookie. All right. Everybody is a rookie in this offense. Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. All right. DeAndre Swift. They're all rookies in the offense. You know, the new offensive lineman, Joe Tooney, is a rookie in this offense. So everybody's learning this thing, but ultimately it comes down to the quarterback, making sure everybody knows their assignment. So I'm just saying it's not easy. It just isn't easy. And so just listening to call a play and then all the tags and adjustments and the things that he has to know, like he's learning. All right. So there's going to be, and that's what training camp is for. And I don't think it's going to, look, they start off with division games. They start off against the Vikings. It's going to be a challenge here for a little bit. It's not going to be, okay, we're going to cut 68 sacks down to, Jared Goff had 31 last year in Detroit. It's not going to be that fast. It might take a little time. So anyways, I thought they were candid and honest about what's going on, but I'm optimistic about what they're doing. We start off this week talking about the AFC North, and I've been to 3 of the 4 teams in the North. I've been to Baltimore twice. I've been to Cleveland, and I've been to Pittsburgh. But let's get to Baltimore because they're my favorite. They won 12 games last year. They're a very sound and complete team. I think they're a better team this year than they were last year. Malachi Starks comes in as a number 1 pick to play with Kyle Hamilton at safety. That's an upgrade over Ardarius Washington, who got hurt this year, unfortunately. And some of the other guys they had to start the season last year when they were atrocious defensively and giving up big passing plays for weeks on end. Like I saw him week 5 against Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow, did he throw 5 touchdowns that day? He might have thrown 5. He looked like he was practicing. That was week 5. It got better. Got better as the season went on. Zach Orr was a first-time defense coordinator. Well, now he's not just a first-time defense coordinator. Like, he's got a year under his belt. He's got an offseason under his belt. And he's got guys that, now know the system. They're going to be better on defense. They're just going to be better. I mean, last year, Baltimore finished the season on defense tied for 3rd. So can they be better? In total points given up, they were 3rd. Offensively, they turned the ball over 11 times last year. I mean, Lamar threw 4 interceptions. He fumbled away 5 times. They had 11 turnovers in 17 games. If the defense starts taking it away more and they give more at-bats on offense, I mean, they finished the season 3rd in offense on points scored. They were 3rd in offense. And it's not about looking at last year. It's a totally different year. And 1st in almost every other category. 1st in yards, 1st in rushing yards, 1st in total yards. I mean, this offense it's fantastic. Lamar is amazing. He easily could have walked away with his 3rd MVP. It was his best season. And, I think I said this the other day, but, when I asked him if he ever gets tired, because the 2 days I was out there, the heat index was way up. And John Harbaugh doesn't take it easy on these guys. When their pads are on like it was last Monday, like they get after it. It's long days. They maximize their time on the field. But Lamar just flat out said, look, I asked him if he gets tired. He said, I don't get tired when I compete. That's just flat out statement. I don't get tired when I compete. It's a mindset. It's mentally, it's physically. He's here to win. And so if you take that mindset and you take it to the Ravens, and can they win a 3rd championship? I think they're going to. They're my team to beat in the AFC. They're the most complete team. We know Kansas City has got Mahomes and Andy Reid and, Spags. And, we know they're loaded. We know Buffalo's loaded. And Buffalo beat Baltimore last year. Maybe if Mark Andrews catches the ball at the goal line, it's never one play, never. So I'm not here to throw shade at Mark Andrews. He's been a great player in this business. He's a trusted soldier for Lamar Jackson. But, the development of Lamar is one of the great stories in this league. Like, he came in doing things that nobody said he could do. Winning the Heisman. He can't. He's not a thrower. He's a runner. Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah, right. That guy sees. I asked him, I said, none of us will ever know what it's like to run as fast as you run, Lamar. Nobody in this whole league will ever know what it's like. Maybe Tyreek Hill knows what it's like. There's a handful of guys that can run with Lamar. But it's one thing, okay, let's straight line speed. Let's go race a 40. Okay, he's going to be there. He's one of the top 5 fastest guys in this league. Even 8 years into this league, he is. But it's another thing to be able to run that fast and keep your eyes down the field and find open players. And he does it constantly. He sees the whole field. He's gotten better. He said he's gotten better, but it's an innate instinct that he has. It just is. I don't know that anybody else. I played with Randall Cunningham. Randall was, ahead of his time. I was around Mike Vick a lot in Atlanta and Philadelphia when he was doing that. I mean, Lamar's just – and so now you add DeAndre Hopkins. Now you bring back the starting offensive line. And Roger Rosengarten, who didn't start the season last year, is now a seasoned vet at right tackle and a good player. You go watch him in the playoff game against T.J. Watt and watch what he did. Faalele is maybe the biggest right guard in football. Maybe, Mekhi Becton, him. There's a couple guys that can probably tip the scales at 370, 380 and can play. Linderbaum is just a stud at center. So anyways, I don't see a weakness on this Ravens team. They won 12 games last year. I mean, Derrick Henry said that, he wants to run for 2,000 yards so he can be invited to an Adam Sandler movie. Now, what kind of incentive that is, I don't know. But, he went through the season healthy. He didn't, went through his whole training program, running the hills and the vest and the sleds and all the things that he does. Somehow he's 10 years into this league with a couple thousand, I don't know how many thousands of carries. But it's over 2,000 carries, maybe 3,000, I don't know. But there doesn't seem to be any loss of speed in Derrick Henry. I mean, just go to that first Buffalo game. Was that Sunday night? In the first carry of the game, he goes 87 yards for a touchdown. I mean, he wasn't touched by a Buffalo Bill. Nobody could catch him. He was a runaway freight train. 10 years in this league, it doesn't look like he slowed down. And now you put him in the backfield with Lamar and Patrick Ricard and all the tight ends and all the things that Todd Monken can dial up in the run game. They are the most difficult offense to defend in this business right now. And so now you give Zach Orr a second year and you add Malachi and Mike Green, who I don't know how much you can ever expect from a rookie as a defensive lineman. You just don't know. Sometimes they need a redshirt year. Very few guys come in and get you double-digit sacks. But I thought Mike Green, coming out of Marshall, watching him at the Senior Bowl, I thought he was the best pure pass rusher coming into this draft. Now, you could say Abdul Carter, and maybe Abdul is, but, you can look at all the guys that get drafted, Jalen Walker, whatever. Like, this guy's got great skill. He can bend. He's got power. He's got a great first step, and he's going to get trained by Chuck Smith. So good luck handling Travis Jones and Justin Madubuike up front. Roquan Smith looks in great shape. You just go on and on and on. They're complete. So anyways, that's the start of the AFC North. I think everybody's looking up at Baltimore. In fact, I think, like I said, Baltimore is the team to beat in the AFC. They got to go do it. We know that. They've had disappointment in the postseason. I get it. But every year is a new year. Like, you're not guaranteed anything. But this looks like a hungry team, a well-coached team. Anything can, all teams can go through adversity. How they handle it is everything. But they're a focused, talented, deep team. The Ravens are the team to beat in the AFC. I stand by that here on August 6th as I get ready to close this show and get ready to go to Eagan, Minnesota, see the Minnesota Vikings today. I'll be here to talk about it, at some point, maybe tomorrow or Friday. We'll get to it. But anyways, thanks for joining me on the Best Football Show, and look forward to talking to you real soon.